What is going on, Leaguers? Welcome to the Spectacular Spoiler League. I am the Pandan Superman, the mayor of Hype City, HazyRome, and as always, I'm joined by the God of Night, the Prime Minister of Post-Production, DeepBoyce. And today, we are in the Hall of Spoilers to talk about The Flash Season 4. We are here talking about the future of CW's The Flash, and we're talking about our predictions, baby, for the next season. Because season 3 is in the books.
Can you believe?
But it's time to look to the future, man.
Can you believe 3 seasons already? It was just like yesterday, as if the show just started.
I feel like just yesterday, our little Barry Allen was struck by a bolt of lightning. Became a superhero. Messing up the timeline day in, day out. And, you know, not much has changed. He's still messing with the timeline. He's not, hasn't come that far. Speaking of the Speed Force, speaking of the Flash, I think our first prediction actually stems from the Speed Force, okay? So for season 4, man, then to season 3, actually, let's start with that. At the end of season 3, we saw a Speed Force storm wrecking Central City, and you know, Barry basically had to go in the Speed Force to quell said storm. So,
yeah,
prediction for season 4, man. I think that Speed Force storm is gonna bring some new metas into the fold.
So we're looking at some Flash rebirth, maybe storyline going on there, where the Speed Force storm is out here giving people powers now.
Well, here's the thing. I don't think it's gonna be quite like how Rebirth was, where currently in or DC Rebirth, you know, the Flash is essentially going through a little bit of a revival as per the Rebirth mantra that DC has.
Yes.
And the first storyline in Flash Rebirth has to do with a Speed Force storm coming out of nowhere and giving people in Central City, you know, speedster powers, basically making speedsters. Yeah. And Godspeed is actually born from this Speed Force storm. I won't spoil it for you, just in case you want to check the comics, but essentially, this is where Godspeed comes from. And Godspeed is probably one of the coolest new villains, you know, to pop up in the comics. And a lot of people have been asking whether or not he's going to be on the show. I don't think he's going to be on the show. I think we're a little ways off from a live action appearance from Godspeed.
Yeah. So
I don't think that Speed Force storm is going to lead to Godspeed as the season 4 villain.
Yeah.
But if you think about the particle accelerator when that went off, right? We understand now that that was basically the Speed Force opening up and granting people powers, because if you remember from season 3, the Philosopher's Stone, the thing that Savitar has and Dr. Alchemy had before, it gives people powers from people who had Flashpoint. People in Flashpoint who had powers, they essentially are able to get powers again. So we see that the Speed Force has the ability to basically bestow powers on people, because, you know, the Philosopher's Stone was a piece of calcified Speed Force.
Yes.
So I think it'll just bring about new metas per se, but not necessarily people who have access to the Speed Force. But next up, man, speaking of that same cliffhanger we got left with at the end of season 3, we've got Barry Allen trapped in the Speed Force, man.
Yeah.
So of course we got season 4 Barry returning, but under some new context, man. So what do we got, man?
Well, he's gone, as you said, and we don't exactly know if he's going to come back right away, mid-season. Who knows? I mean, obviously, the main actor who plays Barry Allen is going to be the main actor of the show for those foreseeable future. It's not like they killed him off or he's gone.
But yeah, I mean, he's trying to play it up a little bit on Twitter, like, oh, I want to thank all the fans for 3 seasons. Like, come on, Grant Gustin. We know you're coming back, baby.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a lot of questions there. I mean, this is almost kind of uncharted territory. Honestly, we don't exactly know what it is. Is he going to end up in the Speed Force and have like a Rocky montage and come in even more beastly than before? Is he going to come in with newfound powers? Is he going to come in and say, I'm only here temporarily? But what we do know is Central City, as Barry Allen said right before he left, still has a Flash. And his name is Wally West.
Wally West.
So we're definitely going to get a good number of episodes where Wally West kind of comes into his own as the Flash. Maybe no longer Kid Flash. Maybe he is now the Flash. And who knows if...
You think he'd be rocking the red suit?
I was going to say, who knows if he rocks the new Wally West Rebirth red suit, if he has still the same yellow one, or if he dons one that is Barry's, or maybe they just come up with a new one. And also...
Maybe he dons something closer to what he's rocking in Rebirth now, kind of the red and silver look.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, and not only him, but it's possible that Barry Allen himself may get a new suit. And
when he returns,
when he returns, And maybe he might not get the 2024 suit, which a lot of people liked, ourselves here at the Hall of Spoilers included. But maybe they'll do something similar, or maybe they'll just give us that suit. I don't see why not, because that suit, baller, one of the best suits I've seen on any of these TV shows.
That suit was fantastic, man. That suit was fantastic. We also might see a little bit of Jesse Quick, because remember at the end of please, Violet Bean, yes Lord. So if you remember at the end of season 3, Harrison Wells, Earth 2 Harry, or Earth 2 Harrison Wells, aka Harry, he's hanging out with Team Flash now, and he's definitely going to be a part of the team, and Jesse Quick is his daughter. Jesse Quick no longer, she was in Earth 3 hanging out while Jay Garrick was trapped in the Speed Force. While Jay Garrick is back now, there's really no reason for her to be on Earth 3 anymore. She can come back to Earth 1, hang out with Wally West, her boyfriend, so we might see a little bit more Jesse Quick too. Also feel like, honestly, when Barry comes back, I think he's due for a power upgrade, and I think we're going to definitely see some new abilities from him when he gets back. I think we're definitely going to see an increase in his speed as well. Because right about now, like, Wally West and Jesse Quick, like, I'm not saying that they're as fast as Barry. Like, Barry's definitely the fastest speedster right now. But they definitely have shown, like, comparable speeds to him. I mean, Wally West was increasing his speed. Say it again?
They learned quicker than Barry did, I think.
Right. Exactly. I mean, obviously, Barry didn't have a teacher to teach him Speed Force. I mean, you could argue that, your boy Eobard Thawne was hanging out as Harrison Wells, low-key teaching him, but, not in the way that, Barry teaches Wally and Jesse Quick. Yeah. But I do think he's in need for a power upgrade, and I do think that we're going to see, him increasing speed. I don't think he's going to quite reach the levels of speed he has in the comics where he's just, like, traveling faster than light and stuff like that. You can't make these characters too fast because then it's not really going to make sense that, you got villains, defeating them. But that being said, with these new metas that we think are going to come out of the Speed Force storm, we're going to need a Flash who maybe has to up his game as well.
Absolutely.
So, with that being said, man, I think we're going to see some evolution for all 3 of the speedsters that we know. And who knows, we may even see Jay Garrick come back as a mentor figure to Wally West and Jesse Quick on Earth 1.
I'm all down for that. And hey, maybe there'll be a new speedster.
That's a possibility too. You never know.
Never know.
You never know. But on to our next prediction. We need to see the formation of the Rogues, because up till now we haven't really seen the Rogues in all their glory. I mean, the Rogues are basically the Flash's arch nemesis. Yeah. I would say arch nemesis, but they're definitely the most recurring villains that he probably faces. I would say Eobard Thawne, Zoom, those are more like arch nemesis, but yeah, the Rogues are definitely up there too, I think.
You could say the Rogues are his Monday through Friday villains. and the big baddies like Eobard Thawne are his Memorial Day weekend type of baddies. He needs to take a Friday off or a Monday off to fight them.
Yeah, so I mean, we are okay. So the issue is Captain Cold is usually the leader of the Rogues in the comics, right? Captain Cold right now, I mean, he basically dies with the Legends. We know that. But that being said, that's not to say Captain Cold can't be taken from another timeline and kind of hang it.
Is he not alive in 2017?
No, he's not, because because remember, when Barry went to get Captain Cold, Captain Cold was hanging out with the Legends. He had to go into the timeline to pull Captain Cold from wherever he was to even get him, because Captain Cold technically is, I guess he disappeared at some point in 2016, and he's been hanging out with the Legends. At some point, he dies with the Legends, so he doesn't really come back from hanging out with the Legends.
This is true.
You know what I'm saying? He kind of just disappears, and that's that. So, according to the timeline, Captain Cold technically doesn't exist, but, he could be pulled out from the timeline at any point. I think Heatwave is hanging out with the Legends. So, if Heatwave's going to come back as a rogue, it's probably going to be a situation where, once again, you're taking him from a different part of the timeline and putting him in present day. Yeah. Which would work because Heatwave is currently hanging out with the Legends. So, if you took him from a different timeline, I suppose, that wouldn't be an issue, unless you'd have to, I guess, put him back in the timeline you took him from. I don't know. That's getting confusing. But we still do have some rogues that could still be used that maybe don't need Captain Cold or Digger Harkness. So, not Digger Harkness, or Heatwave. So we've got Mirror Master. The reason why I said Digger Harkness is because we do have Captain Boomerang lying in wait if he survived the explosion on Leon Yu in Arrow season 5 season finale. But we got Captain Boomerang. We've got Mirror Master. We've got Weather Wizard out there. We've got Top, She hangs out with Mirror Master.
Yep.
We've got Pied Piper, who is Cisco Ramon's rival, Hartley Rathaway.
Yeah.
And we also have Golden Glider, Captain Cold's sister. So I do feel like maybe we can have a version of the Rogues with maybe Mirror Master or Captain Boomerang as the leader.
This is true. Or maybe Golden Glider could become the new Captain Cold. I mean, maybe that's a little cheesy for fans, but she could just become the female Captain Cold, down the gun. There you go. She's the new leader, the new replacement, so to speak.
You know, so I didn't even think about that. Like the idea of maybe a legacy character taking the fold.
Yeah.
What if Killer Frost stepped in? Because Caitlyn, she's definitely gonna be around for season 4.
Absolutely.
She definitely walked away from the team. And you know, listen, we know that she's kind of gotten a little bit of a better hold on the Killer Frost character, but I don't think she's come back to the good side yet.
Absolutely.
And I think her as a rogue might actually be a good call for her, because she could still kind of have her badass side to her.
Yeah.
But the rogues have a code to them. You know what I'm saying? They operate in a way where they follow certain rule sets. You know, you know, they've never killed the Flash.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like a rule that they have, where they will not kill the Flash. And, you know, having Caitlyn be the leader of the Rogues, maybe, or a member of the Rogues, I think that might work within the confines of maybe having her be sort of like a good guy who's just having a series of bad days, or even an anti-hero for that matter.
Yeah. I mean, that all sounds interesting and compelling, and much better than the first go-around of the Rogues that they did in season 1. That was literally just one episode. It kind of came and it went. And the Rogues, like you said before, they're a big part of the Flash. So they should take an opportunity, even if it's not the traditional Rogues, they have enough characters that we already named here to kind of have them together as a meta-human power team to go up against, to test the new Flash, Wally West and Jesse Quick. And you got Vibe. You know, there's... True. One of the things about the Flash is that, he's the world's fastest man, but he can't be in 2 places at once. And that's kind of what the Rogues always use against them. You may catch 1 or 2, but you're not going to catch all of them. They always try to coordinate their attacks. So it's definitely something that they need to try and do, if maybe not season 3 in the future.
I mean, that's definitely true. The Rogues always try to take advantage of their numbers. Yeah. They play the numbers game a lot. But speaking of teams and speaking of groups that need to make an appearance in the Flash, so the Flash, the second to last episode of season 3, called Infantino Street, teases us a little bit with the Suicide Squad. So Barry and Captain Cold sneak into Argus to steal the energy source from the Dominators. Shout out to the Dominators. In order to power the Speed Force bazooka and hopefully take down Savitar. Yeah. In doing so, and infiltrating Argus, they see a couple of people that Lila has locked up there. And Barry talks about, basically Task Force X. And those characters that we see Gorilla Grodd, we see King Shark, we see the nameplate of Cheetah, a Wonder Woman villain, and we see Cupid Stupid. I can't say her name without saying that. It just... That line, that Cupid Stupid thing just gets me every time. But I think that... Alright, so we know that the Suicide Squad was supposed to be done, man. We know that they had Deadshot, they had Bronze Tiger, they had Cupid. They were rolling with the Suicide Squad. But around the time the Suicide Squad movie was coming out, it seems that DC may have squashed the plans for Suicide Squad on Arrow. And... there was even talk of a spin-off show for Suicide Squad that might have gotten squashed. But for them to not mention Suicide Squad at all and then suddenly reference that in, season 3, I almost feel like there has to be a payoff for that team. There has to be a payoff for the Suicide Squad in some way. That being said, if they're showing Grodd, if they're showing King Shark, those 2 alone might break the budget for whatever episode they're on. Because the rendering for that, I mean, it takes a lot to put those characters on screen.
Yeah, that would be the biggest issue there. And that was something that they didn't really have to deal with the first Suicide Squad or Task Force X, which was in the Arrow TV show. Because they were pretty much all people. So it's not like you have to do any rendering or any CG.
Truth.
But... even though these shows, they do make a considerable amount of money, they can't exactly get the CGI. They can't get King Shark for more than 1 episode or half of an episode. Or
Cheetah, I mean, Cheetah could also be done with prosthetics
Absolutely.
or cosmetics, I should say. But that also could potentially need some CGI also. Like that character in itself, like, you know, just the action moves she might do, you know, depending on how they decide to do her up, that could also be another character that might need a little CG too. That could be difficult.
Yeah. I mean, I think maybe they'll have to pull in a few characters maybe that they haven't introduced yet that are more human based, if that makes any sense. Or maybe some of the rogues that we mentioned.
Sure.
Because that for sure is an obstacle for them to have them on their show consistently. Sure. Unless they haven't been a big crossover or something.
Yeah. I mean, I do think with them teasing that, I think that there is going to be a payoff for a Suicide Squad team in some capacity. And I also think with, you know, Wonder Woman coming out and it be getting, you know, relatively positive reception from, you know, the screenings and stuff, I think that DC might try to sneak in Wonder Woman, you know, wherever they can. And Cheetah being a Wonder Woman villain, I think that might be, I think they might try to sneak her in. But on to our last prediction for Flash season 4. And this is one that, you know, I've seen other people talking about, and it was referenced in more than one episode of season 3, and that's the Thinker as a villain for the main villain, probably, for the Flash. And by the Thinker, we mean Clifford DeVoe. That's because there's been a couple of people that have held that name. There's been like 4 people. There's been Clifford DeVoe. There's been Cliff Carmichael, Des Connor. He does also like an artificial intelligence version of the Thinker. Yeah. So like it gets complicated.
Needless to say, they're digging kind of deep. At least in particular with this character. I mean, they're probably holding off on some of these other characters that are more well known as Flash villains, and especially because maybe they're holding those characters off for the movie. We don't know what's going on with that. But with the research that we've done, we don't know enough about the Thinker, except that his main powers are telekinesis and telepathy, so he can, you know, move things with his mind and control people with his mind. So who knows?
Right.
What?
I think that's technology based too. I think he created something called the Thinking Cap.
Yeah.
In which he, you know, basically can use those mental forces.
Interesting names for some of these things here.
I know, Thinking Cap. It's like we're in elementary school. You're trying to think of some math problem. Put your thinking cap on.
Does he have like a thinking chair? It's like his type of Cerebro.
I mean, hey man, if I could put on a thinking cap and start controlling people's minds, that would be fantastic.
Hey man,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'll be getting free burgers every day at my local burger spot. I like how the first thing I think of with a mind control device is getting free food. I need some burgers, man. But the Thinker has been teased in the Flash season 3 twice. Yeah. So in episode 18 titled Abracadabra, Abracadabra himself, he's from the future, so he's taunting Flash, and he talks about Flash's greatest enemies, and he said Thawne, Zoom, and DeVoe, indicating Clifford DeVoe, aka the Thinker. Yeah. And then in the season finale, Savitar or Future Flash or Future Barry, whatever you want to call him, he's in Star Labs, and he's looking around, and he's just like, this is where we came with the plan to stop DeVoe. And current Barry's like, what are you talking about, man? I don't know. What's that mean? and Future Flash, aka Savitar, is like, you're not there yet. So that definitely alludes to DeVoe being. I mean, for Abracadabra to mention some of the Flash's greatest enemies and put DeVoe amongst the likes of Thawne and Zoom, he would have to be a villain for a season in order for him to be on the level of Thawne and Zoom as arch enemies for Barry. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And he seems different enough. He's not another speedster.
Sure.
So that could potentially have them do different storylines as opposed to having yet another storyline where the bad guy turned out to be someone that you thought was a good guy in disguise.
Definitely. Yeah. And the whole mind control thing could be a whole issue too. I mean, I could see Joe getting involved with that because, with mind control, people committing crimes, doing things that they claim they have no idea about. And, it being something where there's a, kind of like a police interest in what's going on with the Thinker. Yeah. You know what I mean? I mean, there's even the idea of the Thinker getting a hold of Barry or Wally or Jesse Quick and controlling them, maybe infiltrating the Star Labs team. Like, what if? I mean, that's a potentially dangerous thing too, right there.
Yeah, that's true. You don't know who's who and what their motivations are.
Right, and it could start messing with the psychology of the team. And I think, just somebody who has that ability, I think, is highly dangerous, very dangerous. But anyway, guys, what do you want to see in season 4 of The Flash? What do you want to see from Barry Allen? Who do you want to see him go up against? Do you want to see another speedster? Say no, because we already seen 3 of them. We don't need another speedster as the main villain, please. But what do you think about our predictions? And let us know if there's anything we missed, anything you think is going to happen in season 4 that we did not discuss. Let us know if you want to see Barry in a new suit. We definitely want to see him in that future Flash suit, because that suit is baller.
Absolutely.
But that being said, guys, we are getting out of the hole of spoilers. We will see you next time, and we will wait patiently for The Flash season 4.
Bong bong.
We out.